We all know him around the country as from the Cosby Show Theo, but I promise you all, he is much, much more than the character that he played on the Cosby Show. A great musician, a director, great actor, but more than that, you all, he's a great man. He's a great man. And we're so honored to have him. He's got so many numerous awards, so many numerous things that he is doing. But he is showing the whole world, the whole country by he couldn't be here all day, he can't stay here, but he flew in all the way from LA.
Yes, sir.
That means something to help empower and to encourage these young men. Now, I know we're supposed to be invisible, but Prince of Peace, we know how to welcome our guest. He's going to check in, Brother Malcom Jamal Warner, as he checks in.
So am I checking in? I'm checking in. My name is Malcom Jamal Warner. I saved on my car insurance. Yeah. I'm glad to be here. No, good things that happened to me. I woke up. I took 2 flights to get here, and I got here safely. That's good. And I'm here. We tried to do this last year, and it couldn't work it out. So I'm here, and I'm glad to be here. Just thank you. And just for this, this brief time I've been sitting here, I'm touched, man. This is really cool. You know, I don't even know you brothers, but I'm proud of you. And it's kind of weird because, I act for a living, but I also still take acting classes, right? So there's this class I'm in now, and we do kind of this improv, and there's this technique called the Meisner technique, where you really, it's 2 people standing across from each other.
Could you give an example of this?
Yeah, I'm ready to do it. So in this Meisner technique, there are 2 people who standing right across from each other, and the exercise is called repetition. And these 2 people look at each other, and they are basically checking in with how they feel, whatever emotion they're feeling right now. So I say, I'm nervous. And the other person says, you're nervous. And you kind of go back and forth, and the next person talks about how they feel. But what's really odd is they often say, I love you. And I'm like, well, they don't really know each other. That's the whole thing, I love you. And last week I'm doing this with this person, they're like, I love you. I'm uncomfortable. But there's something about like spiritual people. They always talk about love and how I love you, brother, and I need to know you. And I just say all that to say that just sitting over here, I got this feeling of love and inspiration and respect from you brothers who came up here and just spoke for 3 seconds. That's really it says a lot. It says a lot about who you are, and just the fact that you guys are here in this program. I am inspired, and I am happy. I'm also a poet. I'm a poet, I'm a bass player. I've got 3 CDs that I put out. I actually won a Grammy last year for my spoken word, so it's something that I do. But there's a piece I'd like to share. I'd like to start off by sharing. Throw your hands in the air, wave them like you just don't care. Throw your hands in the air. It's a brand new dance called the stop and frisk. Put him down. Sitting around simply getting pissed at an establishment that was designed to legally keep you second class is an exercise in Don Quixote futility. For we have the ability to make change. For we are master magicians. Like Harry Houdini, sidestepping conditions that were meant to contain us. Take a derogatory word used to name us, flip and in song make so famous, white kids using amongst themselves as a type of endearment. And if that's not magic, what would you call it? Maybe an experiment gone awry. The die has been cast, and history proves that we know how to outlast inhumane conditions placed upon us. From the African Holocaust to young black lives lost at the hands of those meant to protect us, to the systematic intent to misdirect us through miseducation, unemployment, and the inflation of poverty. Because yes, today, even being broke is pretty damn expensive. But the joke is that this racial divide that divides us, well, that's magic too. It's something that's allowed classism to continue. It's an age-old tool that's always allowed the 1% to rule. Let me ask you, what would you do if you and a small other few needed to protect the financial power that you have over the masses? How do you keep them from uprising, organizing, and enforcing majority rules? If you could fool one group into believing that they're better than the other group, wouldn't you? Then couldn't you use that same system to inflict inferiority and self-hate? Because I'm convinced we now live the American mind state Malcolm talked about at the Oxford Union debate in 1964. Because we have been conditioned to hate the oppressed more than the people doing the oppressing. Jim Crow redressed. It's distressing that America loves black culture, but not black people. Not seeing that we already know we are equal. What we're trying to do is to uproot the system that has historically gone out of its way in an attempt to prove that we are not. The contempt that the working white class has been taught to have for blacks, it goes so far back, many don't even recognize how deeply ingrained it is in your being. Have them mad at affirmative action without seeing the system of oppression that made it a necessity in the first place. Crying reverse discrimination as if they were the first race to ever get passed over simply for the color of their skin. Right. And that which should serve as enlightenment and further reason to unite against the system that's actually oppressing us all has only created more hate. And yes, after 2 terms, count it, enjoy it while it lasts. After 2 terms with a black president, I too wish America was post-race. But I keep telling my melanin challenged friends that she is not. So that means that you, me, we have got to open up our eyes and see this country for what it really is. Beautifully flawed. Birthed through violence, looting, rape, and pillage. Without conscience, destroying families' homes, burning entire villages to the ground, teaching that Native Americans were the bad guys until we came around and realized, yo, the cowboys were thugs. We are born into an America that declares a war on drugs, while at the same time funneling drugs into lower economic neighborhoods, and then citing an increase in crime. We make up 13.2% of the population, yet 40% of the people doing time. Shouldn't we all be perplexed by this prison industry complexity? And in some liberals' minds, even today, they believe that if we just act right, all of our problems will just go away. And though we can't take self-accountability and responsibility off the long list of solutions, we also can't ignore a system that creates conditions that will quite possibly skew your point of view if you too wore the shoes of those most affected. Translation, anger at us is misdirected. But guess what? We still persevere. After hundreds of years of trying to be written off, and you know, you keep kicking the dog long enough, that foot will get bitten off. Yes, Black Lives Matter, but human rights is our quest. And if you see, throughout history, we fight to the death. Like Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, Eric Harris, Sandra Bland, Arthur Stern, Philando Castile. We fight until we literally give you our last breath. Because we have the ability to make change. Because we are master magicians.
Yeah.
All right, I usually try to have that memorized when I do it, but not today.
All right.
But yeah, that's kind of how I'm living right now. That's kind of where my mindset is right now. So I write speeches. I'm an actor. I do all that stuff, but also, I go to school. I go to colleges. I do lectures. So I get paid to do speeches. And because I get paid to do speeches, I'm a pretty good speechwriter. I'll probably say so myself. So when I was coming here, I had some things that I wanted to write down, and but I just something just told me not even to do that. I kind of wanted to just I put some notes down, but I just really just kind of wanted to talk. I talk from my heart, and just kind of be in the present, be in the moment. Because if I'm writing a speech, I'm standing here and I'm reading off of my speech. I'm very engaging, but I kind of wanted to not be stuck behind the podium and not be stuck behind the speech. So this is kind of what my brother calls speaking extemporaneously. You will learn that word at Lincoln University. Extemporaneously. My dad went to Lincoln, actually, so I've got a fondness for Lincoln. My dad went to Lincoln because a poet by the name of Langston Hughes went to Lincoln. Gil Scott Heron and Brian Jackson went to Lincoln. And that's why my dad went, because of Langston Hughes. And one of the reasons I am a poet is because my dad, introduced me to poetry at a really early age. And it's something that stuck with me. When I was 6 years old, I told my parents, I hadn't even been to an acting class yet. And at 6 years old, I told my parents that I was going to grow up and one day either be a famous actor, a famous poet, or a famous basketball player. I can't play ball to save my life. But 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But I really am moved by the work that you're doing here, David. I thank you for having this mentorship program. It's something that we obviously need nationwide. And I appreciate you for having the village. I appreciate the parents who have brought their young men here. I appreciate you young brothers who are actually here and attending the meetings and living life, not being perfect, but being able to, living your truth and being able to share and being able to share. I mean, that's what I got. You guys only talked for a couple of minutes and, you were nervous. Being able to push through that. Because in life, I get nervous all the time. Like honestly, just standing here right now, I'm nervous. Because as an actor, it's easy. Like when you have lines and you're playing a character, then you get to do that. Or if I'm writing a speech, it's like reading from a script. But to actually have to stand up and be myself, that is sometimes nerve-wracking. I like to be way cooler than I think I am. Like I wish I could just stand here and be chill and be like, yo, life is like this and Well, that's not me. I'm standing up like, what am I gonna say next? But the nerves is it's part of it's part of us being able to share that, being able to be vulnerable, especially for young brothers to be vulnerable in front of each other is an important and empowering thing. So you guys are actually empowering me. So for those of you who have watched me on television for what seems like all of our lives, I wasn't born on television. Bill Cosby isn't my real father. I was born in Jersey City. My parents separated when I was about 3. And they got divorced when I was about 6. So I've never really known my parents to be together as husband and wife. But they've always been really good friends. They're always the best of friends. My dad's been married for almost 40 years, but I've grown up with, my mother and father never being in the same house, but having a really wonderful relationship. And, my growing up with my parents being really good friends had a really profound impact upon just me and my, my relationships, my interactions with women. But when I was 5, my mom and I moved back to California. And my mother was always looking for things for me to do. So I wouldn't be just hanging outside, hanging out with friends. So there were always chores she was, trying to make me do. So I would have to come home and do my homework. But I was really good in school, so I'd come in and do my homework and go outside and play. And while she was at work, she'd come home and couldn't find me because I'm out playing. So then it was do my homework, then I had to clean the kitchen, then I had to clean up my room, then I had to iron my clothes, and then so I would try to get through all that, so I could go and hang out. And the last thing she would make me do, once I finished all that, she would make me take my underwear and my socks and wash them out in the bathroom sink. By hand, obviously. So I have to do all of that. So she would always keep things for me to do, so she could at least keep me in the house and keep me busy until she got home. And then she got home and she let me out for for a little bit until it got dark. Till the street lights came on. And then my dad moved back to Chicago, so every summer I'd go to Chicago to see my dad. And my dad had this thick book called Great American Negroes. And there were chapters on Langston Hughes, Richard Wright, Raymond Cloud Bethune, Mary Anderson. And I used to have to read these chapters and write book reports for my father on my summer vacation. And I didn't realize until I got older what it was they were doing for me. There's a saying, any of you guys familiar with the saying, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. You guys know that. So I didn't get that growing up. Like, you know, as I got older, I got what it was that they were doing. And once my mother was always trying to find things for me to do. So she had me on the basketball team. I was in the basketball league. I looked great in my uniform, but I couldn't ball. So one year basketball season was over, and my mom's friend suggested this acting workshop. So I went in and auditioned for this theater workshop. I'm like 9 years old, and I auditioned. I get into this community theater, and I loved it. Like at 9 years old, I found like the thing I think I wanted to do. And we did this play, and our first play was called Alice Is That You? And it was basically a takeoff from The Wiz. Dorothy gets to Oz, and everybody thinks she's Alice from Alice in Wonderland. And I got to play the Tin Man. So when the play's over and we come up for curtain call, and I come out and people are like standing up and clapping and whatnot, and I'm 9 years old and I'm like, oh, I like this. Attention. I want this in my life. But at 9 years old, I was able to figure out what I wanted. And that was the thing that kind of, wanting something in life is the thing that really got me through growing up, like got me through not wanting just to hang out with my friends who didn't want anything yet. It was that one thing, it was that wanting something that provided a drive for me. And even when I got to doing theater, I got an agent, started doing television, and I got on this really wonderful show called The Cosby Show. And when that show came out, you guys remember, when that show came out, it was like, it came out the box, it was the biggest thing going. Like, whatever the most popular show on television now is, American Idol, The Voice, whatever the most popular show on TV now is, The Cosby Show numbers be killing all of that. Like, they can't even pay for the ratings that our show got when it was on the air. So so here I am as a teenager, and I'm on, like, not just the #1 show in the country, but I was on the #1 show in the world. And I'm a teenager on this show living in New York, like life was good. But the thing my mom said to me was, it's great that this show is doing so well, it's great that this show is a phenomenon, but you know how this business is. This show could be over next year. What are you gonna do when this show's over? She said, I can type, I can always get a job, but what are you gonna do when the show's over? So she always impressed upon me life after Cosby. So I didn't grow up on a show like, hey, I'm a TV star, I'm chilling, life is good, I can work for the rest of my life. It was really like, okay, whenever this show is over, how can I parlay this into something else? I don't want to just be one of those where are they now kids. And then, I wasn't gonna be that strung out dude. So I started looking into directing. So directing was something that kept me busy into acting. Like I started directing on Cosby Show. I was directing Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, directing a bunch of stuff for Nickelodeon and Sesame Street. Like that really kept me going. But so one of the things that people always talk about, and one of the things that people are most proud of me for, aside from my career, is that I've grown up and navigated through the business without being strung out, without being in the tabloids, without, and mind you, I grew up. I grew up kind of mad because like all the girls wanted the bad guys, they wanted the bad boys, and like I felt like I was too nice, and the girls didn't want the nice guy, they wanted to be with the thugs, the bad boys. So I just want to impart on you that at some point girls get tired of the bad boys and they come around. So don't feel the need to be a bad boy. Don't feel the need to be a thug and be a soldier and all that. They finally do come around. But the thing that people are most proud that I've not gone that route and been into the tabloids and all that. But again, it was because there was something I wanted in life. I wanted, beyond being on this, wonderful, phenomenal hit called The Cosby Show, I wanted something beyond that. I wanted something in my life. There was still something that I wanted to achieve. And the thing that gets you through is drive. Finding those things that you were good at, finding those things that you like, even if you're not good at it yet, but if something that you like, something that you want to get better at, that's drive. That's the thing that keeps you going. That's the thing, that's life. And you aren't going to find that all the time amongst your peers. That's why being here at the Village is great, because you're around like-minded people.
Yes, sir.
But everyone is not going to be on the same path. Everyone is not going to support, not being a bad guy, a bad boy. And you have to, really have a knowledge of who you are. Like, if you know you're not a thug and that's not what you want to be, you have to be strong enough in who you are not to be swayed by peer pressure or by other people, because misery loves company. And if cats see you doing well, or cats see you happy, and they don't want you to be happy, they will try to influence you. So the thing I always try to get people, not just young people, but all of us, everybody, like find something that you love, because so often we work jobs that we don't necessarily want to be at. We work in this 9 to 5 at Arby's, that we don't want to be there. But what's the but aside from that, because if you got to work to pay bills and there's work that you have to do, then it's important to find something else that you love to do, because it makes the have to do you can swallow that pill a little easier, because there's another aspect of life that you like. There's something that goes beyond what the 9 to 5 is, what the thing that you have to do to survive and pay the bills. But there's also a great saying that if you find something you love, you will also find a way to make money doing it. So that's another important aspect, especially now, because there's the internet, and it's so easy to kind of see what's going on in the world, that this is a good time just to kind of explore. Find things that if there's something that you like, you can go to Google and get information on that. We didn't have that growing up, But the fact that, any topic, anything you want to learn, you can learn on YouTube. People are learning how to build bombs on YouTube, So, like, find that thing that you want, and you can find out how to get better at it. You can find out how to do it, because you have the technology to do that. So I have a inquiry that I would love to ask, get some feedback from some of you fellas, in terms of why are you here? And what's your name? Javier. Why are you here, Javier?
Honestly, when I first came here, it was because my mom made me, but now I'm here looking for help, seeking somebody to have patience with me other than my mother, somebody to help me become a man, because my father is really dominant in my life. And I found that to be the thing, and I thank you for everything. Don't go off and say this is thing that you throughout my life.
How long have you been in the program?
I've been in this church since I was about 14, 15 years old, and now I'm 20, so 5, 6 years. It's also where I met my best friend before my best friend Caleb, but they're not really best friends. All of these right here are my brothers.
So why are you here?
I don't have a father figure in my life. My mom is deceased when I was 4. It's what I'm saying. So, and I have trouble in school. My behavior is bad. So I have bad days.
What are you getting from the program?
Working on my behavior.
Cool. Well, thank you for your honesty, man. Like that was a beautiful moment right there. Like I really appreciate it. I appreciate your honesty because I mean, I don't have to tell you, everybody's trying to be cool. Everybody's always trying to be cool and not, revealing what's really going on with them. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your honesty. Young man, why are you here?
Just to learn more about life and how to be a better man. So when I grow up, I know what to do in life and how to succeed.
Because we always hear about, when we're talking about the younger generation, media, the older generation, all you hear is how our youth are wayward. They don't, they're not being responsible. They don't care about education. They don't care about their future. And you gentlemen here are really the truth. Like you are the young people that we don't talk about enough.
Right.
We don't celebrate you enough. And I always feel if you've got young people who are on the fence, and the bad boys are getting the shine, then you kind of want to go where the shine is. And I feel like those of us who are in the public eye, those of us who are in the media, really need to do a better job at accentuating the positive and shining light on you and other young people like you, and giving you the love and giving you the acknowledgement and recognition. So I just want to give you guys. You are our future. And that's what everybody else in this room who is sitting around, surrounding you guys, we all recognize that you are our future. And everybody in this room is here to support you and to support what you're doing and give you that encouragement because you are our future. And you have mentors here who are guiding you and who are helping you, and that is truly a gift. To have people in your lives who actually care about you. And even at the very least, the only people who care about you are the mentors here in the village. That's still a gift. And that's something that, that should be honored and should be recognized. But there's also a responsibility that comes with that. Because as people are here for you, that means you have to show up for other people.
Yes.
You have to, in your own way, mentor other young people. To whom much is given. Because at the end of the day, the world doesn't really care about you. As young black men, the deck is stacked against you. It's by design. Like, black people don't live in the hood by accident. It's by design. putting you in a position where it looks like there are not many other choices other than selling drugs or playing ball or becoming a rapper. When it looks like those are your only options, that's by design. And it's important for you to know that. It's important for us to instill that in our young people, so you get that it's by design. Like there's a debate. There's something called taking the bait. Like with if you've got mice or rats, you put cheese in the mouse trap as the bait, and the mouse comes, they eat cheese, and they get stuck by the trap. So many of our young people are taking the bait. I've grown up with a love-hate relationship with hip hop. I love it, but at the same time, songs about bees and hoes and niggas and kill this nigga, and it's by design. It's you are supposed to feel helpless. You're supposed to feel fear and rage and feel unloved. It's by design. Because those are the things that are meant to land you in jail. And we live in a country that is founded on slavery. And what is slavery? Free labor. What is jail? Free labor. So there are private prisons who get paid for you to be in jail. Big business. There are two judges in Pennsylvania. There's a scandal, Kids for Cash. And there are two judges in Pennsylvania who finally got caught. I think one of them is in jail for like 28 years. And these are judges who basically, sending kids to a for-profit youth juvenile detention center, and they were making like millions of dollars sending kids to these detention centers. And kids who, petty stuff. Might have been selling some weed, might have been, some vandalism, might have been nothing that warrants, getting locked up for 5, 6, 7 years. But it's a business. So when you are out, what I'm saying, you don't have to do a major crime to get put away. The system is not looking for you to have to do a major crime to get put away. You can get caught up on some BS and get sent away. It's by design. And those are that's just one case when these two judges went to jail. Those are just the ones that got caught. So it's still going on. And we're just talking about kids. We're not even talking about the adult justice system. So when I say that the debt is stacked against you, it's stacked against you. There were a series from 1877 to 1965. There were a set of laws called the Jim Crow laws. And amongst a host of horrors, black people were not allowed to vote. Black people were not allowed to serve in juries. Today, there's the Jim Crow laws are technically not in existence, but if you go to prison and you are a convicted felon, guess what? You can't vote. So it's very real. There's a great book by Michelle Alexander, The New Jim Crow, and it's a wonderful book, but she really makes the connection between the Jim Crow laws and the mass incarceration